How's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to a Thursday night. It is 10:29 p.m. California time, 2/26/2026. Man, a whole lot of numbers there, right? No big earthquake activity yet, but still early. We got an hour and a half here along the West Coast to get one squeezed in there. But hey, a lot of activity ramping up here across the northwestern corner here of the Pacific Plate. Quite a bit, in fact, here. We're noticing some broad-scale activity from about Taiwan all the way up through the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench, where there's an incredible amount of earthquake activity. Also along the Aleutian Trench there. That's kind of my hotspot area right now. Check out this super deep earthquake here around the India area as well. Getting a lot of movement happening out here for sure. Let's go ahead and check out the latest activity, though, across California, where we got the looks like the geothermal fields out here in Northern California starting to kick up, including a 3.4 in the last hour here, 2 miles deep. Of course, this is the geothermal fields around the Clear Lake Volcanic field. It says the geysers here, but technically there is no geyser activity out here whatsoever. These are geothermal plants, and they basically harvest the heated energy below to create power there, or harvest the energy below to power the homes across the Bay region, certain North Bay regions. And there's quite a bit here around this area of this specific geothermal field. So whatever's going on there, they know about it. I don't work down there. I don't know anything as far as their processes go. It's pretty simple. They inject raw sewage down in to the heated areas below to create some type of dry steam, and in turn it powers, it creates or harvests this energy there. It creates energy, and they use that to power the homes. But man, there's a lot going on around this area tonight, so somebody's creating some earthquakes out there. These are the earthquake creators. And there's geothermal operations is one of those things here where there's a hazard that comes with it, and there's earthquakes. Right now, there's no big earthquake activity, but quite a few years back here, they were creating some 4s and 5 magnitudes that damaged people's homes out here, and I think some lawsuits were coming up about, and they managed to keep some of these earthquakes there below a certain magnitude, but poking holes out here in the volcano field, I don't know. Is that the wise thing to do? I guess they have safety measures in place, right? But I'm wondering what the long-term potential is for this area. Anyway, earthquake activity on the ramp up here tonight, including that three-pointer. Northern California and the Cascadia subduction zone up here, pretty quiet. Let's go check out the slow slip event map this evening, see what we have for the Cascadia Tremor Department. Are we shopping for a big earthquake tonight? Nothing going on there across the Cascadia as far as the slow slip events go. So a little quiet, and it's noticeable out here as well. When things start getting active across the deeper area of the Cascadia, that's when we start noticing earthquake activity, whether it be along the Cascadia or in the vicinity here up and down the coast, inland as well. We notice that, but it's pretty quiet out there. There's no slow slip events going on right now, so things are just what is going on here? My microphone just broke. Oh, what? I have a it's a Shure SMDB 7, and it's hooked up onto a little doohickey here that kind of extends away from the computer so I can talk on it, but it just broke. What in the world happened here? That's just odd. Had the stream go down and my microphone broke tonight. Well, the stand at least that the microphone sits on, you hear it? That's the piece that should extend or draw in here when it comes to adjusting the microphone, just like you would see at a radio station here or the old-fashioned TV stations. But all right, I guess I'll have to hold it right now because otherwise it's going to go down towards the floor. All right. Goodness. Just another thing I got to fix here. 2.1 early this morning around the Vallejo area. The Bay Area pretty quiet as well. One earthquake here around the Fresno area. 2.2. Pretty shallow earthquake activity. I do expect further earthquake activity to occur here around the San Joaquin Valley, just because of the water withdrawal there from the deeper areas below. They're subtracting a lot of water, and they are dropping this land pretty crazy there with the agricultural usage of the water. And I don't think that's coming back. So there's going to be some interesting activity out here across the southern end of the San Joaquin Valley, I think, for earthquake activity. We've noticed it for sure in the last couple of years. But that earthquake there outside of Fresno to the north. Further down south around Los Angeles, a 1.4, nothing big. Let's see if we got any unusual activity out here. Nothing above 2.5, right? Pretty quiet in that department. But as far as, small microquake activity, yeah, we got quite a few. But nothing big. No major unusual swarms going on there. Across Montana, another earthquake up there around the Great Falls area. That's been a source of, quite a few earthquakes here in the last several weeks. Nothing big going on there, but a little unusual activity. Yellowstone National Park, nothing. So let's go see here. I should keep this up on the bookmark. That way I don't have to go to it. I could just keep it right here in the tab. Let's see what we got here for earthquake activity. Well, this one's not going to work. I already know that. There's a couple of those earthquakes there from this morning. Why did they disappear off the map? Oh, because it's past the threshold there. These were late last night, so technically it's past the last 24 hours. But since then, as you can see, not a whole lot going on. The western area of the North American plate, pretty quiet. Areas east of the Rockies there, the Oklahoma and Texas oil fields, still pretty active. The New Madrid seismic zone, pretty quiet there. But we are still getting some activity there around the South Carolina area. This is the largest event here in the last 30 days around the Columbia, South Carolina area. Just kind of watching things here as we've been getting some activity here around Charleston as well. And of course down here they've got the potential there to see a 7.3 earthquake. That's why it's right smack dab in the major severe hazard zone for earthquake activity, right? Who would have thought? Southeast down here, the east coast gets earthquakes? You bet. You can follow a trail of it over to the New Madrid seismic zone. Nothing big going on there for now, but just a friendly reminder that earthquake large potential exists out there. So let's see what we got here around the Japan area. Towards Taiwan a little bit. Little swarming going on here in the 4 and the 5 range in the last couple hours, it looks like. That area is a major subduction zone region. It's occurring very shallow here. There's very shallow earthquake activity, but the trench zone has a major potential for, for some large earthquake activity. In fact, I want to go over and double check that and see what we got here. I'm one-handed right now because I'm holding the microphone here in the other hand. Let's see what we got. I'm going to go 7.0 and above. And we're going to go back here just an extended period here on this Thursday night. Just because tomorrow's Friday, so we can kind of take our time and just do an extensive update this evening. So we want to check this specific area right here. I know the Nankai Trough, it's got some potential there, but I'm just kind of watching this area around this trench zone. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but there's definitely a major subduction zone here that can produce some big earthquakes, obviously. All right, so this area is a little absent here. Notice that? There's big clustering going on here around Taiwan, but that's very typical because it's a major intersection here where all the pressure and the stress transfers to around the Taiwan area. They're always getting some big earthquake activity. But this area back here, it's a subduction zone, and they can definitely get some large earthquake activity, but it's lacking anything historically. 7.3, 1917, that's pretty old. M7.5 there in 1998, that's still, quite a ways ago. Not into the subduction zone, but back prior here into the plate boundary, or off the plate boundary. 1915, 7.2, so this area right around here along that subduction zone may be fairly well primed for some big earthquake activity. 7.7, 1938. One thing I'll tell you, a lot of older earthquake activity there on the map. And that's a bad sign for this area when it comes to, look at that, 8.1 back in 1910. If I remember right, last year or the year before, this area had quite a few upper sixes. There was a huge swarm going on here, and it just completely came to a halt. Now we got some elevated activity stirring up right now. And there's been a handful of earthquakes out there, but there's potential for some large earthquake magnitudes out here, so just watch that closely. That's one area I'm watching. And of course the area up along the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench here, pretty active. We are noticing some further activity along the Aleutian Trench here. There's a 4.9. It's a little bit further up north here. Outside of the Atka, Alaska area, 33.9 miles deep. That is west of where that 6-pointer struck here a couple days back. 6.1, 5.7. Oh, that's over there. But this area back here along the Aleutian Trench, a lot of older activity as well. I've checked this as far as the historical documented earthquakes go, and there's a lot of older activity. You got to watch those zones of, they have potential for large earthquakes, but it's been a long time since we've seen large earthquake activity. Those are the zones you want to watch. And they're not showing any big activity right now, but very possible we could see that sooner along that area. Let's see, New Zealand 3.3 down there across South Island. Pretty quiet here across the Solomon Islands and the Vanuatu area for now. A lot of deep activity here on the globe. So I do expect things to really kick up. What's this earthquake way up here? You guys see that one? Oh, is that super deep earthquake back over here? I believe it is, that 4-pointer. Backside here of the Kuril-Kamchatka. Well, it's probably way deep into it. There's a 4-pointer, 300 miles deep. That is a significant, super deep earthquake there. The subduction zone obviously primed for some large activity here, I think, soon. Middle America Trench starting to kick up here this evening, it looks like. Quite a few 4s and some 3s. South America, some typical movement. Nothing big. The Atlantic Ocean, quiet. Now we got some volcano activity around the Philippines stirring up. But that thing, I can't remember the name of the volcano, but it seems like it kicks up every few years or so. Nothing of abnormal activity. There is some clustering going on up here along the Philippine Trench. So do keep an eye on that. That's some newer activity here northward. The Hawaii area, we better go double check that here real quick. The Kilauea Volcano website. Let's see what's going on. I don't know why this thing broke here. It's just connected by some bolts or something here, but I don't understand why it would break. I'm thinking it maybe unscrewed itself here. Weird. But anyway, that's kind of a bummer, just sitting there. All right, deformation data at the Kilauea Volcano. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, we're just kind of leveling out, even a little bit of deflationary going on here. Just, I've been saying this here since this end of the eruption, that this is a little unusual to see the deflationary events this soon in the inflation stage. It's still going up gradually, but we need to watch this here, see where it takes off from here. If we see this thing going down like this, I think the rinse and repeat cycle may be over. Maybe some magma going somewhere else, or just lack of inflow there. But nothing of abnormal this is all abnormal activity here since the last eruption, but nothing major going on here yet. But we'll continue to watch that. The gradual trend is going up here, and if it continues at this pace of periodic, stationary or deflation activity, then you can probably expect this to stir up here. Oh man, if it continues quite a few days here, at least maybe a week. At least a week, maybe a little bit longer here as we head into March. So, space weather activity, goodness, man. We got 2 active areas here around the eastern limb, and we're back down into the boring class here with a B 8.1. But I tell you what here, these are some sizable sunspots. The more concerning area in terms of magnetic complexity, this one's large, but there's a whole lot of, I believe this is positive, negative over here, a whole lot of negative territory, but not a whole lot of intermixing here within this backside. If there was, we'd be talking about some major flaring. There's another area back over here as well. Looks a little bit more active than this area, but we'll see that in the coming days. I'm kind of watching this area back over here on the southeastern area of the sun. There's quite a bit of intermixing of the negative and positive polarities here with the sunspot. So I think right now the main area to watch is going to be back over here. That's a fairly simple magnetic structure there. So let's see what we got. 4378. See what we got here for 4378. Well, they're still showing a 5% chance there for M flare, but the main one's going to be 4380 here with a 10% chance. It's going to be the southern, and it looks like a beta delta structure. One up north, the former sunspot 4366, there's beta. Fairly simple sunspot area. But we'll continue to watch this, see what's coming around the bend there. Just because it's low right now doesn't mean too much. It could pop up here at any time. 25% chance there for an M flare. They dropped these for some reason. I'm still going to keep mine up there just because of that complexity there of the that southeastern one. X flare around 5% chance. C flare around 85% chance or so. No major aurora activity in the forecast, folks. So as far as any severe weather goes, let's take a look here at the Storm Prediction Center. I don't see anything major out there. Just got some general thunderstorm activity out there for now. Taking a look here down the road. A lot of people wondering what's going on with our temperatures out here. Let's see when the warmth is coming in there across the country. Right now, it is pretty warm. We hit 73 out here in Northern California. I heard some areas around Texas hit 100 degrees. Are you kidding me? South Texas down there, 100 degrees in February. That's crazy. No, thank you. I don't like the heat. I don't care if I have a nice cold swimming pool. So this is the thermo temperature anomalies. Notice quite a few hot areas there across the southwest and west. There's some cold temperatures going on across the northeast there as we make our way into early next week. But the general pattern, let's see, the west coast gets a little blast of air, it looks like, towards not this weekend but next weekend. Yeah, it does look like the west wants to stay cold while the areas across the east stay warm. That's the temperature anomaly map. Total accumulated precipitation runs out here. We do have quite a bit coming in here. Maybe some severe weather coming up in the days ahead. Not recent, but I think here in a few days or so, severe weather will pop up around this area. No major rainmakers out there across California for now. Most of that's going to be into the Pacific Northwest. But there's some rainfall for Northern California. This is a snowfall potential here. Oh, crazy. Includes sleet. This is just an estimate here. It does look like maybe there's some colder storms coming up here near term. But we'll see how this plays out. Don't take this seriously. It's just kind of a forecast model out here. Probabilities. Nothing down here across the south, but maybe some snow up here across the northern half of the country. Seismograph stations out there pretty quiet, folks. Not a whole lot going on. I got to find a bolt or something here for this. I don't know where it slipped out. I'll have to look on the floor. That's a bummer. I just moved it for a second so I can, kind of position it a little bit closer here. And it just went kaplunk. Almost dropped it down to the floor. So I think we'll be okay, though, right? If that's if that's my main worry, then I probably shouldn't complain. A little bolt from my microphone, right? All right, folks. Friday, what do we got here? Another earthquake at Hawaii, or two of them up around Mauna Loa here since I've been yakking. 2241, two earthquakes there of 2.2. One up here, one down here. One deep, one shallow. Interesting. Mauna Loa is at that stage here. If you look on the GPS stations, we can do this, I think. I think these will work. GPS stations there across Mauna Loa. There's several stations up here around the summit area that are matching or have surpassed the eruption stage of 2022. Remember that back in 2022, the eruption of Mauna Loa? Well, look where we're at. This is the eruption. We've been going up here the past 3-4 years. 4 years, yeah, 4 years or so, to where we're at right now. So we've surpassed it. Could we be seeing the eruption there at Mauna Loa? Pretty soon, I think. I do think it's near term. So we'll continue to watch that for elevated earthquake activity. That's a good sign there that things are moving below the ground. We already know, that things are inflating across the area of Mauna Loa. But elevated earthquake activity will be a good indicator. So, and as you can see right now, there's literally two earthquakes there back to back. One deep and one shallow. One up here. This shows deep. This one up here on the northern end shows very shallow earthquake activity. So we'll continue to watch it. Either way, Hawaii, very active in terms of volcanic activity. We'll see you guys out here for the wonderful Friday morning update. Friday. Actually made it out here. That's awesome here. Hopefully it wasn't too bad of a week for you guys. We'll see you guys soon. Have a good night. Stay safe out there.